Welcome back. The COVID-19 pandemic has seen the use of technology boom. Face-to-face meetings have been replaced by Zoom, Microsoft Teams and similar programs as we seek to reduce physical contact and the chance of infection. Even schools have benefited from online learning while attending class was restricted. But too much of a good thing can be bad, and Zoom fatigue is a very real problem. In fact, a new study has revealed that women feel more fatigued than men after Zoom meetings. Let's unpack Zoom fatigue with counselling psychologist Akashni Maharaj, ironically, via Zoom. Akashni, thanks very much for speaking to us this afternoon. So break down this new phenomenon called Zoom fatigue for us. What is it and what does it feel like?
Zoom fatigue is when there's excessive exposure to virtual meetings. So there's continuous meetings all the time with not much break in between. So it could lead to mental exhaustion, physical exhaustion. That's what Zoom fatigue is, just in a nutshell.
So connected to this Zoom fatigue, a recent study has found that mirror anxiety plays a role. So that's the strain of constantly looking at yourself during video conferencing or meetings. And so explain to us why that could cause us anxiety.
Look, a lot of the times it's linked to personalities. Generally, extroverted and introverted personalities view themselves very differently. So introverts generally don't have a social anxiety of being in front of individuals. And so when you're on a platform such as Zoom and you are constantly looking at your little pane with your picture on it, it highlights a lot of things that you don't want to face every day. It could create anxiety within the individual, constant exposure and reflection of the self. Whereas extroverted individuals are generally, not too fazed with things like that. And you mentioned earlier on that it affects more women. Yes, the recent studies have shown that women are more affected because generally women are more self-conscious of themselves. They're more, they're more in tune with what's going on within themselves. So watching themselves on screen with their reflection can create a lot of body dysmorphic issues, could create anxiety, create depression, a whole host of different things in different degrees. So that's really why mirror anxiety could pose a problem for a lot of individuals. Whereas if you are in a general workshop where you are not seeing yourself all the time, you are occupied with other people, watching other people. So there's not much attention placed on you. And also individuals are concerned also about what others are thinking of them. So it leads to self-confidence, self-esteem issues.
Could this also have something to do with the current preoccupation with filters? When we take photographs of ourselves, we are able to filter them to present a certain image to the public. The kinds of images and videos people generally upload to social media, there's a lot of control in terms of what you want people to see in the image that you portray. Whereas in a meeting, it's very much exactly what your device camera picks up. Could that also lead to this mirror anxiety?
Oh, definitely, most definitely. People like to be in control of what others see about them. Look, a simple example is lots of women prefer to, put their makeup on before they leave home. And so it makes them feel confident. It makes them feel good about themselves. When they take a picture, they would like to be the best angle, look the best. They must look at it. They must be comfortable with it before they actually send it out. But when you are actually on Zoom or even Teams, and people could screenshot you, that's an anxiety that could, very well be a reality where you're not sure in what angle, what position, or what image exactly that you haven't seen is now going to be put on social media or shared. And, that in itself creates huge problems for individuals in terms of how they view themselves, because how you view yourself versus how you want others to see yourself is a personal thing. And when you have your picture displayed with everybody else, you don't know what's happening to that picture and in what frame that individual is going to screenshot you or what's going to happen thereof. So yeah, it does create anxiety.
So companies need to be cognizant of the impact of Zoom fatigue on worker satisfaction and overall productivity. How can they best strike a healthy balance between having necessary online video interactions but reducing this phenomenon of Zoom fatigue?
I think there's a few measures that could be put into place, that the meeting should be a little shorter or even have a lot more breaks in between, so individuals are not so exhausted with long, drawn-out meetings. The difference between being in a boardroom, for example, versus being on Zoom or Teams means that there's no control in terms of time.
Unfortunately, we have lost our connection on that very vital answer, but that was counselling psychologist Akashni Maharaj.